So, good grief. The Peanuts movie is only an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. What can I say? Is this the best Blue Sky Studios animated film I've ever seen? Let's find out. So here's the plot for the Peanuts movie. We have a boy named Charlie Brown who'd like to do some things who want to fly a kite, but I can't. It's just for winter. And then they decide to take the baseball practice, but he can't. He's a little bit of failure. I'm excused. But then when Charlie Brown and the kids saw a new people are coming, which is someone is moving, and then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to go to school, but Snoopy's can't because no dogs allowed, for the sign says. And then the kids are learning to help for the environment to do the test. And then when Charlie Brown meet the new character named the little red-haired girl. And what suddenly happens is when Snoopy wants to find a way, he wants to go to school, but he can't. And it says no dogs allowed. And then Snoopy finds a typewriter for the new chapters. And then, what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown had a crush on Heather Wald, also known as the little red-haired girl. And which basically happens is when Snoopy want to make it typewriting to become the world famous Snoopy called the Flying Ace. And then they decide to take the adventure of the Flying Ace for the movie event of the year. And then we have Charlie Brown find a way for how to take a look on Heather Wald. And then what suddenly happens is when Snoopy finds the new love interest named Fifi. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to talk on her door, but I can't. It's a failure. But you know why? Charlie Brown had a failure face. Totally funny. You know, from the 1969's animated film for 2D animation called A Boy Named Charlie Brown. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to become a royal strength to do their own talent show. And they like to do the magician things. And then what suddenly happens is it gets a little messed up. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to help to take a dance night at the class. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to do their own dancing to teach the help to Snoopy. And then they like to do their own dancing in the class. And then they become the world famous dancer. And what suddenly happens is it gets a little messed up again. But it suddenly happens is when Snoopy finds to get the rose to take it for Fifi. But it suddenly happens is the Red Baron sees it. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown won't give up until they find a way to become a real big boy. And then they become a #1 leader. And then what suddenly happens is they want to read the War and Peace from the book. And then they like to read a book for Charlie Brown. It has so many harder books. So, what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to take a big shout for the greatest boy of all time. And then Charlie Brown's had a mistake. And this is not the right paper. Because it's Peppermint Patty's paper. Because, you know, from at the beginning of the film, when Chuck holds Peppermint Patty's hand, and Peppermint Patty says, "You sly dog," totally funny. And enough of that, continue the plot. And what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown is pretty sad about it, when that ain't a right paper. And then it needed the help when they want to type for the new chapter for Snoopy and it says, "Curse you, Red Baron." And then they want to help to try to attack Red Baron. And then what suddenly happens is when Snoopy want to help, but it can't because Woodstocks want to help. If they want to help to find a way, and what suddenly happens is pretty much like the rescue mission to save Fifi and any help. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown wants to help to fly a kite for a little kid, but almost got it because don't give up, little kid. Here's a final chapter called Never Give Up. And then what suddenly happens is when Snoopy wants to help to try to attack Red Baron, and then what suddenly happens is when Snoopy rescues Fifi. And then they finally save for their own Snoopy's family. And then that's the end of Snoopy's Flying Ace chapter. And then what suddenly happens is when Charlie Brown with the last day of school for summer, and then what suddenly happens is they like to find a way to take a crush on the little red-haired girl to give it her pen. And then what suddenly happens is when the kite flews, when the little red-haired girl sees Charlie Brown, and they give to her pen, and they like to take it on the bus. And then Charlie Brown became Snoopy a best friend. And then a good old Charlie Brown. And that's it for the film. What do I heard of the Peanuts movie? It is the best out of all the Blue Sky Studios films. The very first time I saw it on November 7th, 2015 in 3D. And after I watched it all over again, and after I rewatched it, does it still age well? Honestly? Yes, it is! This is one of the best Blue Sky Studios film I have ever had. Because the animation looks really awesome. The story really makes sense. The characters, we got Charlie Brown, the main character. He's a kindful leader, and he's awesome. Snoopy, he's cool. Lucy, she's pretty nice. And all the other kids are awesome, including Peppermint Patty, she's awesome. Franklin, he's cool. And including Pigpen, he's pretty funny. Violet, she looks nice. And Sally, she looks nice too. And Marcy, she's pretty nice. All the other characters are so nice, including a new character named Fifi. She's really nice. She played Christian Chenoweth, which is the same person who played Princess Skystar from My Little Pony, the movie for 2017. Even though 2 years before that. So, including the songs from the new ones, for Meghan Trainor songs, including Better When I'm Dancing and Good to Be Alive, they are awesome, including Linus and Lucy theme. It's awesome, and all the other songs are awesome for the music composers by Christoph Beck. Cool. As for negatives, none. This is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse of the Blue Sky Studios film. No joke, in my opinion. Overall, it gets a infinity out of 10. If I guessed it a 10 out of 10, I'm gonna guess it an infinity out of 10 in my opinion. It's an amazing, brilliant masterpiece. So, stay tuned for tomorrow of Ice Age Collision Course film review. If I'm going to respect other users' opinion who do not like the film at all. Hope you all enjoy, and goodbye.